Sanwanani, hello everybody. This is your girl Masiphumelele Success Waga Mashinini, also known as Mpumses of the Masiphumelele movement, and this is me officially welcoming you to the Masiphumelele movement YouTube channel. Boo, 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 boo. Oh my word, you guys, I've been wanting to say that and do that since forever, like forever being I didn't even know that the name of the channel or of my movement, or that I would even have a movement called Masiphumelele movement, but I knew that I needed to be in this platform doing this. So today's video is a welcome video where I would like to welcome you to the YouTube channel and also tell you about what I would like for you to experience from this channel, and what also I would like your inputs to be onto this channel, and also what to basically expect from this channel and what the purpose of the channel is. Okay, so please, I hope that you can enjoy this video, that you can stay to the end of this video, and that you enjoy. So stay tuned.
Believe you can, and you will. Success is the best revenge.
So you guys, if I tell you guys that this is literally my second take, I had the very same video, similar video, everything, that I took weeks back, but I basically lost the video. Like, I was at a point where I'm trying to edit it and then I look for the video and I'm not finding it anywhere. I was so upset. So this is me trying again, and I'm always grateful for taking chances, because I think this gives me an opportunity to fix where I was uncomfortable with the video, because I'm literally quite such a pedantic person, and you know, I always see mistakes in like everything, and I mean, I'm trying to evolve and not be that person, but it'd be like that. Okay, so I had a bit of like a few of my doubts about that video, so I'm looking at it positively and thinking to myself that this is another opportunity for me to actually do better on this video. So I hope that you guys are going to understand that this is a start and that mistakes are going to happen in terms of anything, you know, sound, lighting, what I say, how I say it. So I just would like to ask you guys to please be patient with me, and you know, that we have also positive criticism only, that's welcome here. Things that will build me, build my guests, help us build each other, so that we take whatever it is that we are doing, what we are starting as a family, because you guys are already my family like that, so that we're able to move with it and take it forward. So I've been wanting to start a YouTube channel for years now, you guys. Initially it was in 2019 where I realized that I wanted to have and start a YouTube channel, and like I said, I did not even know that it was going to be in a form of a movement that I would have started by now, but I did want it to be, you know, something that was going to be impactful, because by the way, you guys are going to get used to this, you know, as you join this channel. Your girl talks, okay? I talk a lot. I could go on rambling the whole day, okay? Obviously on this platform I have to try and cut it and keep it short, and as a result I feel like I'll be like speaking quite fast, because normally what happens is that I want to speak too quickly so that I cover everything in a short space of time. See what just happened, and I hope that doesn't happen. so that like I'm able to just say the most in the a space of time, a short space of time, because I also don't want to like find people bored by me just rambling, because also this is what I want the channel to be about. I want the channel to be a fun way of the movement delivering important messages to its market in the most fun, exciting, short but thought evoking way. So I hope that we reach that goal at the end of the day. So the reason why I wanted to start this channel, especially in 2019, was because I graduated with my BTech at the Cape Peninsula University of Technology in Cape Town in 2018, December 2018. And when I was done with my BTech, then I had to come back home in Joburg and like basically start over. And I found that I was quite okay, because obviously I'm still waiting. It's my first year of not having a job, but already I just really felt like it was gonna be a difficult journey, trying to embark on that period where you're trying to look for a job post varsity, and this also now then evoked a thought in my mind that I really need to start something that addresses those type of issues where the youth is lost, because I feel like there are some issues that are addressed and some aren't addressed as much and as often as they should. And I think that the youth being lost is really one of the, the 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 topics that need to be addressed. So starting from when the youth is around like in grade 9 to when maybe they are on their, what do you call it, the job searching stage of their career. So I just felt like what I studied, firstly, I didn't know what it was. I had an idea, but I wasn't 100% sure of what it entailed, and also of the experiences that you then get to go afterwards. I recently had a conversation with the church family of mine, with a brother of mine, that who then said to me, because we were talking about it, and I felt like for the first time in my life I found myself in a space, or not in my life, but it is rare for me to find myself in a space where it is understood that it is not all the time that you're going to find yourself doing or find yourself in a space where you are working for what you, or you are doing or practicing what you studied for. And if that's happening, that's great. We love that, we encourage that, especially if it's what you chose, if it's what you really look forward to, if it's what you love. But sometimes you find that, or most of the time you find that, I think the stats was like 73%, I'm not sure now, but 73% of people or 60% of people are not really doing what they went to varsity to study for. You come back and then the reality of life kicks in, and then that is actually where you have to start afresh. The starting afresh doesn't really happen immediately after matric. It happens once you're done, and then now you have to find a job, but you find that you're not finding what you studied for, or job in what you studied for, and then now you find that you either have to branch into something else, branch out of what you've studied. You find that you have to upgrade, maybe add a certificate. For instance, in my career, a lot of people do the certificate in STEM track, for instance, or SIO, to try and give themselves better opportunities to be hired, in the field of work that they're doing. So, but as a kid, or as a child, or a learner, or a student, you're not really, opened up into that mind, into that space. You're not told, from a young age, we grow up being asked, it's okay, what do you want to become? And you say, and you choose, because you're seeing the things that you're seeing that are light in the community. And I'll share my story real soon now, where you just pick something because it's what you see your uncle doing, or your neighbor, or something, and you don't know that eventually when you get to university, or when you have to now start a career in that particular field, what is expected of you as a student, for instance. So for instance, I studied environmental health, and like I said, I wasn't 100% sure of what it entailed. I just knew that you become a health inspector, but I was not aware of the modules that I had to cover and pass for me to become a health inspector. I did not even understand why I did some of the things, and they tried to put it into perspective for me. And I think some and more of it I was still going to see as I get into the field, because they were like, no, that theory is important, but when you then study in the field, then you get to see, you know, the importance and how you use it, you know. Because for instance, and I'm not saying it's wrong, but I'm just making an example to say, for instance, I did anatomy and physiology as one of my first modules, as one of my modules in my first year, and I was just like, why am I doing this? And then they said, you need to know, the anatomy and physiology of, the human body. And I did microbiology. They said you need to know about, what times of, your Staphylococcus aureus and all of that. But when you now go to conduct health education, for instance, in the community, half or more than half of the people don't even understand what you're talking about when you say Staphylococcus aureus or Escherichia coli or Saccharomyces cerevisiae, all those things. You literally have to say germs. Some people don't even know. I mean, some do, because obviously, we are getting better and better as a generation in terms of the knowledge that we're exposed to. But some people don't even know that there's different kind of germs that you find in different kind of places that are caused by different kind of factors, such as, temperature and lighting and, excretion and all of that. So you don't know that and you don't understand that. That's number one. And number two, you also find that you go to varsity. For instance, I didn't know that I had to be registered with the HPCSA, which is the Health Professions Council of South Africa, where all, anyone who's in the health field, so whether it's your doctor, your pharmacist, your dentist, all of that, as environmental health practitioners, you need to be enrolled with HPCSA for you to study in the field as a student. And then after that, you have to be enrolled still with the HPCSA, but now change to be a community service practitioner. And then once you're done, you still need to be registered for the rest of your life when practicing in the field as an independent practitioner, in the health field. But I didn't know that. And when we get there in first year, of course they told us, but literally they said to us, tomorrow come with your ID, and I think it was 270 to 190 somewhere there, a fee that we needed to use to register, and 1-page CV. I submitted that, but I didn't even know what it was for. Okay, like maybe they told us, but when you're a student and you blank and it's the first weeks of orientation and you just bombarded with information, and I just did that. Next thing we told, you need to buy lab coats. I was not prepared for that. And okay, fine, you bring the money for lab coats, and then the next thing you told, okay, you're gonna have to do community service after this, and this is how things work. And I remember first day when we got there, our lecturer then asked people in class in the lecture room to say, okay, who of you or how many of you know what environmental health is and what it entails? And literally it was a few fingers up. I had my hand up and I said, you become a health inspector. And they had follow-up questions, but I did not know what it entailed. And I found that it's actually quite a diverse field. And for a person going in there not knowing what I was going to study, I ended up loving the field because I really saw the necessity for it. I saw where it helps, and I saw that it is really, really important and it is needed, and I ended up getting to love it. And when now I had fallen in love with it, I found that after school I then have not been presented with an opportunity for me to practice in the field, such that I've come to a point where I'm just like, let me redirect my energy towards other things, because it's been now around 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, so around 6-7 years post varsity, because I first graduated with my diploma in environmental health, then I did my BTech there. So it's been those years post varsity, and I've never even been to a single environmental health interview. And not because I was applying, actually I was applying like crazy, so I just would then speak to a different people, trying to also get the understanding of if they've had similar experiences. And a lot of people are going through that, way they studied for something but are not getting a job where they started. I'm not saying people should not study anything because you're not going to get a job. No, I'm just saying that I'm starting Masiphumelele movement so that I can share the information, so that what is expected of you, and if you'll be able to go through the entire journey, as some of the guests will share, for you to get to where you need to. An example of what I'm saying is with psychology, and I know this from my cousin who is studying psychology, and I don't know if she was aware, but I later found out from herself that when you are in psychology or you're studying psychology, you need to first have your master's degree before you can practice, in psychology. And as a kid or as a learner, for instance, I considered being a psychologist because I thought that I was a good listener and I wouldn't mind helping people with their problems, but it was not really something I wanted to do, but I consider it as one of the things that I thought I could do. And even back then I didn't know. And I mean, obviously it's important for also young people, especially in that phase, to conduct research, but I think maybe now, but back in the time it was not drilled in enough. Yes, we had a lot of opportunities that were presented to us, but I think as a kid, because you're still a kid, the importance of it is not as loud in your head, okay, until things happen and you're like, oh my gosh, I should have listened more, I should have done more research and all of that. And then my cousin tells me that, and I'm just like, she also has to be registered with HPCSA, and she managed to do her degree and her honors degree as well. But now you have to wait. She had to wait before she could, to get to a master's, because she was tired and she was getting older and there were other things that were getting in her way, and also because apparently the selection for you to do a master's degree in psychology is crazy. And I don't want to share much about that because I don't know 100% about it, but I've heard about it from different people. And I'm just like, this it hurts, and I feel like, I don't know, I'm not too sure, I don't want to speak for her, but I don't think she knew that that's what's gonna happen, that's what's gonna be expected of her. So now, instead of her maybe thinking that she's just gonna go to school for 4 years and finish and start working, it has to be extended to 7-8 years, which she probably did not budget for. There are those careers that, for instance, with your being a doctor, being a lawyer, being a pilot, we know that you expect around 7 years for those types of careers. But with other ones, you think, I'm just going to study my 3 years and whatever. And sometimes you probably see it when you research, but you learn the things literally when you have started and you're in the lecture room. And it's not all of us that have the thing to say, okay, let me change, I know other people change courses within their first maybe semester and whatever, and say, okay, this is not for me, let me move to this next thing. But most of us, we stay. Some end up dropping out in their second year, their third year, just before they graduate, or their fourth year if their degree is 4 years, because it's not that easy to just snap out of things. But as you go, you see that this is not for you, you understand, and others maybe notice different things or run into different constraints, okay, and others stay the course and they also even graduate in the course, but then you realize after that, oh my gosh, what did I put myself or get myself into? So that's exactly what the purpose of Masiphumelele movement is. It's to give you basically an online encyclopedia of careers, in a fun way, with guests, where we're just going to discuss not only their experiences with the course and everything, but also how it was at school, where they give you an indication of Rhea's life, registrations, their experiences, how it feels now if they're working in the field or not, or what they then have changed and dived into, because there are people who even just mix their careers. For instance, we're living now in an era, or a serious era, of side hustles, where a person will be doing literally one thing. I have a friend who's a lawyer, for instance, but she also did drama, so she has studied drama, so she has both these aspects, and she incorporates both of them into her life, where she's doing the creative side and also the academic side, and combining them together to push herself in a career. So we're gonna get different people and different guests like that. And also, I said that I wanted to let you know how you could contribute. I think how you could contribute as a person that's watching, or a listener, is that you could then suggest suggestions. Okay, please bring a pilot onto the show, or please bring Acacia into the show, because here also we don't have standards, We don't have lines that we are drawing to say, okay, fine, just because someone is a cleaner or a security officer, we're not going to have them. We are not judging careers as to how and when or how important they are to who. Every career matters, and everyone is going to be coming onto the show and sharing their own experiences, because I believe that every story is important, and that everyone that is doing any job in the world is very much important and is needed in the food chain, or in the career chain rather, and in the economy as well. Because I mean, if we did not have the essential workers, for instance, during COVID time, that were helping us, with that were putting their lives at risk to go work at the stores where we needed to go buy food and all of that, who the doctors did that, but so did the tellers, so I think that it is also important to emphasize that a photographer and a lawyer are both important, and they're both important careers, and as long as they work for someone, then we need to talk about them and address them, so it also on the channel we are going to also try and address parents as well, okay? Because personally, I don't have a child, and I'm not trying to put myself in a space where I'm now advising parents as though I have a child, because I really don't know how it feels to have a child. But I think I'm gonna then try to advise them as a child myself, who finds themselves in the space, to speak for the rest of the children, to say, okay, fine, as children, this is how we feel, this is what we go through. And I mean, obviously as parents, you also were a child back in the day or before, and you went through your own struggles, and those struggles, I believe, are the same ones that then want you to help your child to choose better careers, for instance, for themselves. So for instance, you don't want your child to be a soccer player, you want them to be an accountant because you couldn't be one, something like that, or because it's the better career, or whatever has influenced your thought as a parent. But we're just trying to echo the importance of letting a learner or a student embark, in whatever journey they feel is important for themselves. And not to say do not advise them, but just to say listen. Let's have that balance between listening and advising, and not only just bombarding with advice, and then at the end of the day not letting the learner have their own choice in whatever happens, and then at the later stage they have you to blame for something, or have themselves to blame for going with what you have chosen for them, because at the end of the day, we're not even trying to find ourselves in a space where the learners are defying the parents as well, but also where the parents are not oppressing the learners. So to also find common ground, to say, allow your learner, your child, hear them, so even if maybe you are not maybe agreeing with what they want to study, but hear them out and see how you can take that and incorporate it with something else that could work better, and then push them towards that. Not just to say, no, you're not going to be an artist in my house, and then just throw them into something of another career, and then as much as maybe they can thrive in it someday, because maybe they have the brain capacity to do it with the IQ, but they're not happy there, and then they're spending the rest of their lives being miserable. Because I also believe personally, as the founder of Masiphumelele movement, that happiness, also like your mental state, is also as important as your other the other aspects of your life, as much as your career, family, friendships, but also your mental state is as important. And you need to find yourself in a space where you're doing what you love, what makes you happy, what you feel like you're waking up at in the morning. I almost said at night. You're waking up in the morning for, you glad that you're going to work, because it's not everyone that's going to that, and it's not everyone that's going to be afforded the chance and the choice and the opportunity for that. But if we can curb it, and if we can start it at the root, then maybe we can find ourselves one day in a world, or in a space where you find that people are happy doing what they're doing, because that's what makes people end up living with your anxiety and your depressions and everything. It's because whatever it is that they're doing, they literally need to take all their strength to get to the office, where there's a phrase that says that if you do what you love, you're not gonna work a day in your life, because if you're doing what you love, then it's not gonna feel like a chore, it's not gonna feel like work. You're gonna want to basically be innovative in that field, be great in that field, instead of dreading it and hating it the whole time, So my story time is, and I actually want to tell this story time without making my mom feel bad as a parent, and I don't want her to also think or find herself in a space where she feels that I probably started Masiphumelele movement because she let me down, and now I'm trying to heal by doing this. All I'm trying to do is help other learners and get the message out there to other parents, to other learners, and everyone else that might need it, and other youth as well, because we don't only cater maybe to learners in high school and those in varsity, but also those who are post varsity and those who are even in the middle of their career already, or who have started but they feel like having a career change. Because I know of people who do that. Like, I've worked in offices where people have just been like, what, like, I've been working here for 15 years now, I need a change, but what do I do, where do I start? And I feel like Masiphumelele will cater for those type of people as well, where they can then say, let me watch this and see what I resonate with the most, or what's the most important, like what's the most important career in our days. Because to be quite honest, when we look at things and the times that we are living in terms of technology and the fourth industrial evolution, which one's the right one? IR revolution. Then you find that there are some careers that are literally wearing away. They're no longer as important because they're being replaced by robots or computers or whatever. Obviously those type of things won't replace a human being completely, but you find that there are people who are losing jobs because a certain machine has been developed and whatever, and your job is we no longer need those type of people in the country. We need more people who do a certain type of skill or a job that's needed. So instead of us, or instead of learners and other students, even in their old age or in their middle whatever, who try to change careers, going to throw themselves in something that's not needed because maybe it's their dream career or whatever, which is nothing wrong with having a dream career. But if it's no longer needed in the country and no one is using it as much anymore, or studying or graduating in it as much anymore, or hiring anyone in it as much anymore, then there's really no need. Then you need to further conduct more research to say, okay, what's something similar that I could do, but that's not that, because if I do that, then I'm not going to find a job. So we need to look at unemployment rates of certain jobs, employment rates of certain jobs, to see what could better cater for everyone. And I just want to, because I got to a point where I asked the guest to come on the show because I was intrigued with what they do and what they study. And then the lady, my friend, said to me, I want to come onto your show, but I don't want to encourage anyone to study what I studied, because the opportunities here are so rare. Like, I don't want to encourage anyone to know about this or to go and study it, because the people that I studied with literally are not working in the field because the opportunities in the field are so limited. So things like that are important. So I even said to her, no, it's fine, I want you to come still onto the show to just make people also aware that there is a career like that out there, but also to make them aware that if you want to embark on this particular career, be prepared mentally, that jobs are scarce in this career, because that is basically what we're also trying to do. Yes, we're trying to educate people about careers, but we're also trying to educate them about the truth that you experience in the career. So also I want to talk about climbing the corporate ladder, what happens in the industries and all of that, because I find that as young people, we see people that we aspire to, especially now in the era of social media, where people are posting their cars and apartments and luxury brands and everything. You aspire now to be like says, but you don't know how she got to buy that car, or how she got to live where she lives, or because we have different backgrounds. Some of us, you find that someone had a push from their family, but you feel like you're a failure just because you did the same thing, or you're doing the same course as them, but they're succeeding and you're not. And sometimes I also realize that you find that, for myself, for instance, I found that the reason why this is now, I don't know if it's something I used as a consolation, but or maybe it's just an epiphany or something that I needed to realize, and a lesson I needed to learn, to say that the reason why you're probably not thriving in the field that you're studying for is because you're probably not even supposed to be doing what you're like, I'm not supposed to be there, you know. And I thought about it later on, I'm just like, but you know, growth in this career is little, you know, there's stagnance. And also I want to have, yes, it has an impact, but the impact is like sort of the same every day. And sometimes, you know, there's laws and rules that are guiding you, that are not even allowing you to fully, you know, immerse yourself and have that impact, you understand? So then I just realized that maybe it's not even for me after all, because anyway, when I sat and looked and what I wanted to achieve in the world in 10 years time, I'm just like, in 10 years time I don't want to still be sitting in the municipal office driving the same car. And I'm not saying it's wrong, you know, but I'm just saying with having no mobility, and also not waking up excited for my day, you know. And people who are in the field who feel that every day they're excited to, because I know there are people that who are, because I've been exposed to them, I did practicals, and there are people who love it and who feel every day they are furthering their studies in the field, and they're doing this, they're doing that, they're writing you know, journals, papers, masters and all of that. But I just, when I looked at it, I was just like, that's not me, you know. I want to advise people, I want, you know, to do it differently. So that's why I'm here. And that's how sometimes I try to encourage myself, to my friends, to say, maybe, you know, that's not really the path that we were meant to take. Maybe you need to reconsider and look at to what you would like to achieve, and then take that, you know. And I found that with the moment I made peace with that, I was so much happier, you guys, like, you know. And I feel like this will do more for me, but not only me, but for the next person that I'm trying to help, because at the end of the day, in the first place, I'm trying to help someone out there. And I wanted to be a small start, and I still wanted to grow from there, you know. And then not only are we going to be helping with that, but the dream and the goal eventually of Masiphumelele, I want to be involved in career exhibitions, where it's not only me sitting here and or my guests telling you about the careers, but also coming to the schools, coming to the colleges, capturing the moments, and also creating you know, exhibitions, so that people come and see and get to have an experience in careers, so that it makes it easy for them to choose careers. So my story time is that. My story time is to say, Pella, I was in high school, right? And from a young age, when they'd asked me, like, I remember I was literally playing in a neighbor's kitchen, and I was 5 years old. When I was 5, I was in grade 1. So I think the neighbor was excited to say, oh, you know, you're in grade 1 now, you're in big school now, so what do you want to become, you know, when you grow up? And guys, I've always, without fail, wanted to be a pilot when I grow up. And when I think, as far or as much as I can remember, she's literally the first person that asked me to say, what do you want to study? I didn't even know that was a question in life, like people ask that, until she asked me that day. She said, what do you want to become when you grow up? And I thought about it, and I was like, oh, okay. And then I just, you know, I just answered her simply and nicely, because I guess I knew I wanted to be a pilot. I tell her, and then she says, why? And then I'm like, I'm fascinated by planes, you know, when they pass there, you know. And then it started being a thing that stuck in my mind. So I look into it. But then obviously I was a child, I didn't have a phone, you know. Back when we grew up, we got phones like at a later stage in life, not like the kids of today who get phones when they're 3, or tablets. I got my first phone when I was probably in grade 5, and it still did not have pictures of pilots. It was green, a green screen with, like, you know. So I would just see in magazines, and I later learned that what I would basically see are air hostesses. When I would say, yo, man, I want to be a pilot, and when someone would ask why, I'd say, because I want to walk like this, and I'd imitate how they walk and how they drag their suitcases, and the uniform that they wear with their navy skirt and they blazer, navy blazer, you know, in their navy suit, and a chiffon with their hat. What do we call that hat again? That hat. And you know, because I say it because I'm also tall and skinny, you know, I qualified to be a pilot. So that's the narrative I had my whole life. When we did career day in grade 7, I remember very well, I was dressed as a pilot. We did it again in grade 9, I think, in high school, and I was dressed as a pilot each time. And I remember in grade 11, we had now, because my school was so kind enough and they loved us enough to organize for us, you know, career exhibitions. So they'd call us to Carnival City to go and attend these, you know, where the colleges would come and have these career, I think they even still do it, where they'd have these career exhibitions for high school learners who, you know, were about to go to varsity, to just give them knowledge about, like, basically what I'm doing here, but physically, like, where you'd go and listen to everything. Okay, you get the point. So I get there, okay, and when we get there in the morning, it's nice, you're dressed in our school uniform. Then they give you a tag, okay, they give you a tag, and they say, you write on the tag, you write what you want to become one day. So I write pilot. You know, for me, it wasn't even myself question. I never even thought about any other career. It was just that, child. Okay, so we get on there. And then there's these, the colleges have like set up different stalls there. So you go through like, oh, what's happening here? And I'm just like, oh, I'm not even interested in the rest, child. I'm just going to that pilot store. I even remember till this day where that store was, you know, which side of the room. I go there. When I get there, I'm like, yeah, I know, you know, I'm asking, you know, blah, 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 blah. And they're like, oh, would you like to become a pilot? I'm like, yes, you know. They're like, why? And then I tell them, no, I just like it, whatever. And then they're like, are you good in math? And I'm like, how good are you talking? And they're like, I think you need to pass with like, well, they did not say I think. They say the right thing. I'm thinking now because I can't remember. This was like years ago. And they say, I think you need to have 85% to pass in maths in the college. I'm not even getting 85% in school, Baba. I mean, I try in my good terms, but maths was not even my thing, you guys. Like, it still isn't, never has been. I'm like, what? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, I'm taking steps back. I'm like, and the second thing they say is that also, like, you get to have practicals, like, you obviously go to the school and you study, and then you pay. They set the fees, I don't know, but they were fees, and they were this big for a year, and you have to do it for 7 years, I think. The information is now blurry in my head, but I'm just trying to relate to you the experience. And yeah, and then they like, and when you do these practicals, you have to fly, I think, certain hours, I think 85 hours, I don't know when, what, but something like that, and each hour is like 70,000 rands. And I'm like, but I'm not sure now if I'm getting it accurately, but it was shocking information like that. And they were like, it's a private college, so NSFAS is not even gonna come through for you, dude. Like, you'd have to get a bursary, but for you to get a bursary, you'd have to pass your maths and your physics with 7%. And I mean, level 7. And then my dreams were crashing right before my eyes. I guess was I not devastated? I think that's where, like, my devastation as a person started. Like, you know, when you're a kid and you're living life, and it's nice. You get to grade 9, you're choosing subjects. I mean, when I got to grade 9 and I chose subjects, my mom was like, I think I wanted to take geography and tourism, and then I don't know what other subjects I wanted to take, but it really, my subjects were not, you know, I wanted, and my mom asked me when I said, because I want to be a pilot. I didn't even want to take physics. My mom was like, no, you can't be a pilot without physics and maths. And she said that I need to take, and then she cancelled tourism and said I need to take, you know, geography and life sciences. And, you know, I needed to have life sciences because she wanted me to be, or she suggested that, what if I want to become a doctor? But I'm like, I don't want to become a doctor. And she's like, yeah, but you still need to take it, you know, because these are the subjects that ensure that you get the right careers in life. So I had to take physics, maths, geography, and life sciences, you know. So I already took those subjects, but it was just vibes, you know. I was, as a result, when I got to grade 10, I was like, what is happening? You know, I'm used to EMS and NS and technology and arts and culture. What's this now? Like, you know. And then when I'm getting acclimatized, I'm in grade 11. Okay, I see what we're doing, but I know my strong points and my weak points already, and I know that math and physics are not one of them. Hey, I'm good in more of the theory stuff. So life science I tried, and geography was nice, but where I had to calculate, and when there was problems and I needed to solve them, count me out, mother. And I was in there and they said, girl, this is what you need. And then this is where I realized the seriousness of life. I was like, what is this? This is where I started having real life stresses. Before that, I was cruising nicely, you guys. I was cruising nicely. And then it happens, guys. It hits me. Yo, you see in movies, or you see that advert in Chicken Licken where now the person is hungry and they're walking like this and they have the hunch. That's how I walked home. Obviously, I still had my shoulders up, but inside, in my spirit stem, was like this. Cause it's like, but hey, sissy, cancel those dreams. Shut them out. It's not gonna happen. I just knew immediately that's not gonna happen for me. I just knew that, for instance, I was not financially at my house. We were not financially ready for that. But was I mentally ready for that either? No, I wasn't. So, hey, we're winking. Hey, and then now I get to my mom and I tell her. So my mom is like, okay. And now literally I have to choose careers now, because you know the whole story about you use the grade 11 report to and we are pushed to school. Guys, so what happened was that I was studying music. I did my grade 1 in music in grade 10 at UNISA. So when I was in grade 10, I was studying in UNISA. And how that got to happen was that I was singing in a choir, and our choir master was so nice. He offered us, I think he just had an opportunity, bursaries at his disposal that allowed us to study at UNISA for free and do music, because I guess I want to say we were that good, but I'm trying to be humble here. I'm trying to be modest. But we basically qualified for bursaries in UNISA. And I was studying that, and I did my music grade 1 and grade 2 in UNISA. You basically graduate in grade 8. So I was like, okay, that's not even halfway in, but you get the point. So I said to my mom, why can't I just carry on my music? Why can't I just carry on my music and life and then be a musician? And then my mom is like, girl, not in my house, child, not in my house, honey. She was like, you're not gonna be like who died, a celebrity that we had to donate some rand to for them to be buried. You're not gonna do that. My child is not going through that. And then I said to my mom, okay, I want to be a teacher. And then my mom was like, no, you can't be a teacher because I'm a teacher and I want my child you have to. And I mean, there's that pressure obviously as a parent. You want to see your child do better than me. So she was like, nah, I'm not gonna have you a teacher. I need you to do better than that. She said, become a doctor. I was like, no. That's the one thing that I knew. Until today, I'm 100% sure you could hold a gun to my head. And no, don't do doctors. No hate. Love you guys so much, and you know yourselves, okay? But it's not me. So I said no. That was not an option. She then said, okay. Now I'm sitting with I'm going to career exhibition girls. So I have prospectors sitting there, and sometimes they even give us LO at school, whatever. They even come to our school. I went to so many exhibitions, you guys, and I felt like, they kind of open up your mind, though it's really a one-day thing, but they help. So, but also they're stressful, man, So I then have a prospectus and I'm sitting with it, and now I'm looking, obviously, APS score. What does the prospectus say? What do I qualify for? Where do I go? And funny enough, I actually did qualify for most of the courses in the science faculty, because I realized later when I got to varsity that they were in the science faculty. So I said to my mom, okay, I want to be a journalist because, like I'm saying, you guys, I love talking and I love stories and I love listening to stories. I love relaying stories, even the type of books that I read. I love biographies. I just love people's stories, and I think that's why I want to start a podcast, or I'm starting one. And I'm like, I want to tell stories, I want to listen to stories, I want to share stories and things like that. So I said I want to be a journalist. Not that I'm saying, what's this? I'm narrowing being a journalist down to just that, but I'm just saying, the reason why I wanted to be one was those reasons, or some of those reasons. And then my mom was like, "In Tatel, Guami, ma'am, no, not happening." Can you imagine if there's a fire in a building, you have to risk your life and go in there and try to cover the story. Not you, not that either. Yo, guys, I'm getting devastated, okay? And then I'm like, okay, let me look again. And then I ngiyabona ke manje kuningi kunabo zoology, kunabo botany. I qualify for these things, but I don't know what they are, and I'm not trying to be working with zebras. Guys, I'm not trying to trigger anyone. This is me, my thought processes now. So no hate to anyone that did these things that I'm talking about. I'm relaying my story, my personal story. So I'm like, nah. And I see somatology. I don't know what somatology is, but I look at this description and I'm like, I could do this actually. Like, this I like. And I go to my mom. Like, I don't know what somatology is. And till this day, guys, and no hate to my mom or whatever, but I don't even know how she knew what somatology was. But obviously she's the parent, she's the better, she's the more knowledgeable one, she's the smart one, so then she says to me, somatology, mntanami akayo masajana labantu. I'm like, so that's what it's about. I don't know. I only got to know what somatology was when I got to varsity, and their class was right next to ours. I was like, okay, cool. So then now what? Now I've exhausted my options, Pella. None of them are considered. Then she says, there's a friend of mine that is working as this. She's doing this, and you could be good, at this, and I want you to have a status in Pagatin. Being a health inspector comes with her, I guess, for her. I guess now I don't know. I'm not too sure. I'm not sure. I see it in movies that are not from South Africa. Yes, health inspectors are respected, but in South Africa, I'm not too sure, guys. I hope they are, though, because they're very important people, guys, much like everyone else, okay, in doing their job in their careers, please. And then I'm like, okay, guys, I was open to the idea. I qualified Hamunati Zhuang, and I read into it, but not much. I was just like, I'm just becoming this thing. My mom knows best. She's choosing for me. Let me do it. I'm an obedient child, by the way, you guys, in case you didn't know. So yeah, I did that. I registered for that. I registered at TUT. I registered at VET. They didn't have environmental health. They had environmental sciences. So I registered for that. But my third choice was music, even at VET. And my mom suggested that my second choice be town and environmental planning. Town planning, but it had to do with city and town planning, that thing there. I think I also kind of qualified for it, but barely, but kinda. So environmental health was my first choice, town planning was my second, and then my last choice was music. My mom was just like, okay, yeah, put it in there. Because also, no, but I don't even think it was her. It was me saying, like, hey, since you don't want me to have these choices, if anything else, if push comes to shove, whatever, I'll do music, because I'm already studying it anyway, And then cool, I registered like that. So guys, when I registered at CPUT, right, I thought I was registering at UCT because I wanted to go study environmental health at UCT, but did I know that it was there or not? No. I said UCT environmental health, it took me to CPUT. I didn't even know the difference. I didn't even know that in Cape Town there was CPUT and it was not UCT or whatever. I just registered. I just went in there and I registered. Okay, and I did all the other universities. VET, like I said, didn't have, they had environmental sciences. I didn't even know if there was a difference. I just applied. It had environmental, and I thought it was the same thing. I applied at UJ, applied at CPUT. So TUT responds when it was now time. It was time, fast forward now to when no longer application time, but when they have seen your matric results, whatever, then they respond. TUT responds and they say I was coming for an interview. or whatever, write an aptitude test, something like that. Vet takes me and accepts me for music. UJ didn't really say anything, or did they accept me for town planning, something like that. And then CPUT then calls me, literally, I didn't even know I had applied there. They said they call me on a Friday. They say come next week Wednesday to register for this course. I'm like, firstly, I'm in Joburg, you know, I didn't even know. And they're saying come next week. Like, guys, can you please picture this? To Cape Town. I'm not even planning for that. I'm so 100% sure that I'm going to study at CUT or UJ. My mom says, you know what, go to the university that has taken you, because I don't want a child in my house that's going to take a gap year. Everyone is going to school, so go. So because Vele, it was not provisional acceptance at CPUT, they had just said, we have taken you, come register. This is a story time for another day. I'm gonna make another video on that, on how my experience was and whatever. But long story short, I went there, I studied it, I passed it, I graduated for my diploma, and then I went back also for my BTech, and I also studied and graduated in that, you know. But after that, now post that, now in 2019, now rewind to the start of the video where I relayed my story to say things were not looking good. I was applying for jobs, nothing. Also, you guys, I think I need to really make a different story time for this, but we were told that we are being, remember when I told the story that they asked for our IDs and said they didn't tell, well, they told us, but I didn't know what it was, that they were registering us for HPCSA, only to find when I'm in my 4th year, after I've even graduated for my 3rd year, that I was not even registered all along with the HPCSA as a student. I don't even know if I'm supposed to be sharing this online, but apparently something went wrong with our post that they were supposed to submit to Pretoria, because that's where the HPCSA offices are. So somewhere between Cape Town and Pretoria, information was lost, and I had to start the process afresh. Now it was stressful for me. I could not get my community service, because when I graduated in 2017, I was supposed to graduate and in 2018 go for my community service. So what made me go back in 2018 to do my BTech was because I could not get community service because I was not registered, you know. So those are the things that get in your way. Gandhi, if you have watched this podcast and now you've listened to me, and I told you that if you want to be an environmental health practitioner, you need to go through these things, you need to be registered with the HPCSA and make sure of that and all of that, then you have better knowledge. When you are now going through that journey on your own, you will know that, I need to register. Do you get my point? Do you get my drift, right? So that's the point of the podcast. And I think the last, or some of the few things that I would love to achieve, if God allows, God willingly, and I'm manifesting it, and it's my prayer that we're able to reach this as a movement. And that's why I decided to call this a movement and not really an organization. I don't want it to be, you know, I want it to be a movement where it moves through and reaches different points and stages of people's lives that is going to impact them, and that when it touches the one person, then it becomes a movement and moves to the next and becomes bigger, something that's probably even bigger than all of us, you know, where, like I said, I want to have this online podcast, I want to do exhibitions, I want to also do, you know, outreach programs. So we have started where we're helping learners, you know, and students with social issues that they may experience that are becoming barriers to them learning, such that when that is eradicated, then they can learn in peace and not be distracted by maybe not having uniform to go to school, pads, school shoes, and things like that. So where we can, we'll try and have, you know, do donations, charity drives, outreach programs that helps these learners so that they're able to then, you know, reach their fullest potential when they finally are in school. And then the next thing I would like to achieve, I think, did I count career exhibitions already? I think I might have. If I haven't, then that. But also then to also have, what do you call it? Like maybe career counseling in the movement at a time to go, you know, to say, okay, here. And also career like workshops, you know, where now we are saying, okay, come, you know, if you can't, you know, go to a certain varsity or college and whatever, let's have a community, you know, workshop where we are teaching plumbing, or we're teaching makeup classes, or we're teaching welding, or whatever that will help a person be independent and be able to start their own thing, have their own business, when the system had not allowed them to, you know, to penetrate it and work at a certain office. Make something of yourself. And I know that there's other organizations that are doing that, but we need more, and this is just an addition, you know. So that's where I would like to see this whole movement going. But it starts here. It starts with me just raising the awareness. It starts with us sharing our stories, and I hope that it proceeds and progresses to become what we need it to be. So that's what you need to expect from this channel. Please tune in all the time. I'll be posting videos. We'll try to push to post videos every Thursday, so that you guys are on par with whatever it is that we're doing. I'll also be doing vlogs as well, so when we're doing these kind of outreaches and your, you know, exhibitions and whatever I feel that will be of help to the next person, to the next learner, then we're gonna be doing it in this channel, in this podcast, and you are gonna be there to witness it. So thank you so much for watching this video. I didn't want it to be this long. I tried to keep it at 30 minutes, but I went on for another 30 minutes. Please forgive me, you guys. I think probably you'll be used to this, because I always say, even with the podcast, I'm gonna try to keep them to 30 minutes, but not when I'm such a talkative person, and not when it's gonna be an, you know, sharing question and answer, sharing stories and whatever. So please just be patient to say whatever it is that comes. I'm willing to listen, I'm willing to hear, I'm willing to learn, because that's what I'm here to do. I'm here to teach you, I'm here to share with you, I'm here to laugh with you, I'm here to enjoy real and important information with you, where we live in an era of, you know, there's nothing wrong with your TikToks and your, you know, your Instagrams and whatever, but I think we also need to, as much as we talk about the fun stuffs and share the memes, we also need to find ourselves in a position where we are also talking about the serious stuff, and we are helping someone out there. So that's what I also wanted to have this movement be about. And if there's any other question that you have, something that I might not have mentioned, that you're interested in knowing if the movement caters for it, or if you want me to say, no, add this also into the channel, would be interesting, then please let me know, because you know that, you know, the more the minds are put together to work towards a certain goal, the better. You know, the simple English says the more the merrier. And yeah, we have come to the end of this video. If you have reached the end of this video, please leave an emoji just to show me you watched till this end. You see I'm surrounded by flowers, so please leave a bouquet of flowers in the comments, and a purple heart to say Masiphumelele. There you are. And yeah, please also tune in for the next one. Please don't forget to share, like, and subscribe to this video, and like I said, leave a comment below, and tell me also what you'd like to see, or just leave a bouquet of flowers and a heart if you've watched till this far. Please share it with the people that you know need it the most, you know, the grade 9s, you know, from grade 9 to matric, and post that. Please share, and I hope that it will help someone and impact someone today. Thank you so much for watching my video till this far, and thank you for tuning in. Thank you for tuning in also in future, because I know you're gonna come back, because you're family now, like I said earlier. Love you. Bye, Kasana.